And we are live. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We are absolutely buzzing at the moment. We've got a fantastic panel for you today. So we've got Mark Mandelfield, who runs, is it 11 It's a Heaven Jamie Vardy podcast?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Fantastic. And then we've got JT all the way from Kentucky. I keep getting my hands wrong because it's the opposite way around. But JT from Kentucky as well. Mate, we'll start with you first. What are your initial thoughts of the game?
Oh, man. Whew. That was wild. Just starting off from the first goal, it was just so unexpected. Fred plays terrible back pass, starting off from the fridge himself, Harry Maguire, making a terrible pass into him. But yeah, that was just wild. And then the second half got started off great too with the long shot from Tielemans just drilling in the bottom corner. I was jumping for joy at that point, and then it was just like, all right, well, here comes Bruno, and here comes Cavani, and it's like, all right, let's shut up shop here and just see it out. And then Kelechi finishes it off emphatically with a set piece goal for once.
Who would have thought it? Do you know what's really funny? I just said to my dad as well, I was like, oh, he never scored from set piece, he never scored from corners. And it went in, and I just looked, I went, that happened. Like, it was the same reaction. When was it? And I just watched it going in, and I was like, this is amazing. But over to you, Mark, just same question to you. Like, where do we even start today? Or what were your initial thoughts of the match? Because we are just, again, the comments are flying in, everybody's so happy, but what are your initial thoughts?
I'm going to struggle to put it into words. I think I'm 34 years old, and I've waited my whole life for that. So, we've won the Premier League. The big thing for me that's remaining is the FA Cup, and I feel emotional, if I'm honest, right now. I thought every man that was out there today was absolutely sensational. The back three, I don't think really put a foot wrong all game. Tielemans and Ndidi ran the midfield, and yeah, we're on our way to Wembley, guys. Fantastic, eh?
Yeah, let's hope the semi-finals are there so we actually get down to it. Well, I mean, yourself, Mark, I don't know if UK's kind of, again, I don't know if we were allowed to travel, but anyway, we'll come to that issue once we get there. But again, we've got Southampton who we'll come to in a bit. But if you're watching, again, make sure to leave your comments in. We'll try and get to as many of them as possible because they're flying in at the moment. But yes, over to you, Alex. Again, I've just got to start. Where do you want to start on that one? Because there's just so many good moments and such an overall brilliant performance by Leicester City where there were a lot of people writing us off for this one, and we've just proved the people wrong.
You know what? This is like a perfect example of seeing a perfectly executed team performance that just literally it flowed as if it just came right out of the Sheffield United game. We gave 120% and all the players left it out on the field, and they were rewarded. And the fans are rewarded, and everyone's just buzzing now, and it's honestly incredible, really.
Yeah, I've got notes and stuff, but I'm just stumped for words at the moment. It's just amazing. But I think with the best place, Mark, to go into is the first goal. I mean, it was kind of, I won't say against run of play. We were playing very well, and then we were just, again, Fred and Maguire, again, we get more than £80 million if he's going to give us an FA Cup trophy with Maguire, and then Fred just go, here you go, have a ball, and we'll capitalise on it. And again, the man of the moment, the one that everybody's been talking about, and the pressure hasn't got to him, Kelechi Nacho just puts it away beautifully.
Well, firstly, I think Kelechi Nacho is probably the nicest man in football, and everyone is rooting for the guy. He's had to be so patient to get his chance. He really deserves the success that's coming our way at the moment. But from that goal, I think Brendan has sort of seen a weakness in Manchester United's midfield, that they're a little bit slow. And then if you add Harry Maguire into that as well, his pace was always going to be questionable. So if we're then playing out for the back, the high press comes on, a really poor ball to Fred in the first place by Maguire, but why Fred has tried to play that back to him, I don't know. And Kelechi, to be fair, still had a good finish to make there because he took his time, took it round the keeper. And yeah, it was one of those goals that happened in slow motion. We were just absolutely delighted at that point, fully deserved.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the way that he took it, and again, he's a confidence player, but we've managed to find a formation that works for him, JT. And we've been saying on this program for a while that, again, some of the finishes he's have to do, as Mark was saying, has been incredible. But even in this game, the way he took his 2 goals, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a ride for the past few weeks for Nacho and our attack in general, having some of the goal scoring weight taken off of Jamie Vardy's shoulders. And it's not even just his finishing that's been phenomenal, but today he was linking up just so well and just taking the ball almost in like a Madison position at times and taking it on a half turn and linking up. I remember specifically there was a long ball coming out of the back at one point, and he just takes it down like prime Ronaldinho out of the sky. It's like, man, what can't this guy do at the moment, man?
Yeah,
Kelechi.
Yeah,
literally, yeah. Again, it's just it's unbelievable at the moment, Alex. We just have to come on. We've touched on him so many times, and as JT was saying, like, it's not just his 2 goals, which he'll get a lot of credit for. It's all the work he does off the ball, playing in that number 10, dropping deep. That first touch, at times, he was taking players out of the game, bringing in the likes of Albrighton, bringing in the likes of Perez, bringing in Vardy, and this team is just flowing. But he is a big role that we're playing at the moment, and the problem is, for Man United, if you try and take out, you put something on Kelechi Nacho, then you're going to put, then Vardy's free. Then you've got, it's just so awesome to see that everybody is just clicking, and Nacho is at the center of it at the moment.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things about this is, we've been praising, players early this season and throughout the season being, these dynamic players that have really taken, the challenge this season to incorporate and really, bring their A game no matter what. And what we're seeing out of Nacho of late has just been absolutely spectacular. I will be the first to admit, I don't think I'd ever expect him to play like this, the way that we've witnessed him play in the last few weeks. And like you've said, not only is he playing incredibly with the ball, but when he doesn't have possession, he is just making an impact in every single way. You can't fault him right now. And, when he's playing with this confidence, you can see the team around him just oozing with more confidence. And it's a sight to see, because when you have one player playing the way he is playing, everyone else is just, taking that confidence and using it to their own advantage. And the team is gelling as one, and we've just witnessed yet another brilliant outcome.
Yeah, and even in the first half, when normally Leicester City tend to turn up more in the second half, which we did again in this match, but when he was one-on-one with Maguire, I was like, I'm just going to flatten him then. I put my fridge on his head. And he was like, right, I'll take this. But again, it was one of those things where it could have been a couple meters back, then we would have had a penalty. But the way he was kind of taking it on the outside of his foot was like, I've seen Mahrez do this almost. And then that was kind of extreme, but the way he was taking it on the and like, right, okay, I'm going to beat you. And he did beat him. And then Maguire had to bring him down. It was sensational, and we'll definitely come back in a bit. But a good question just over to you, Mark, in terms of like, again, a great victory, not just semi-finals, but again, a massive statement in terms of the top 4. A lot of people have still been writing us off. Are we going to get top 4? Are we going to drop off? Are we going to do what we did last season and blow it? But this is just a statement again, and I'm not sure how it will be portrayed. Either we say this every week, whether is Leicester City going to be portrayed as very, very good, which we were in this game, and I don't think a single player had below a 7 out of 10 today. They were all fantastic. Or the other side, where Man United were poor, because at times we were just carving through their defense like a butter knife. So yeah, just over to you, but it's such a good sign that we are going to be taken seriously. We have to be in this sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think the comments just come up from Glenn, the Foxisle, around what that means to the rest of the league was so important as well, because West Ham have thrown away a 3-goal lead today. So let's not forget about that. They've dropped points. We've now got a 3-game cushion with 9 games to go. Do I look at that side today and think that they're going to drop that cushion this season after what they learned last year? Not at all. Brendan Rodgers knows where the strength is in this squad he's got. We're only a few weeks away from having James Maddison come back in, and hopefully Harvey Barnes at the end of the month. My question would be, how do they get in the side at the minute? We've been playing that well, and we've got Man City up next. And I fancy us to do something there as well, but that's for another day. Today is about drinking in the first semi-finals. It's 1982, and that is just a fantastic thing to say.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that again. Sometimes I get a little bit caught up because I'm like, I don't care. And then sometimes why are they talking about this? I go through these 2 phases of coming at that. But yeah, again, today there was just so many good players and so many good performances. Obviously started with Nacho, but Vardy, again, I know he missed that opportunity because I was thinking at 2-1, I was like, Man United just need that one chance, just like they did in the first half, JT, where they had that opportunity. Greenwood put it away and I go, right, it's game on again. And I thought after he missed, but again, even though he didn't take his opportunity, which is, again, really unlike Jamie Vardy, but the way that he decided to then go in and play the game and play for other players, bring other players, and again, Jamie Vardy deserves such a lot of credit.
Yeah, I agree. Even though, the way that I was excited when Kelechi started this scoring run, just feeling so good that he was getting goals. That's how I'm going to feel once Vardy scores again, because this, I just want to see the ball go in the back of the net for this guy. He hasn't had a slump like this in a while, and I feel bad for him, and I want to see the ball just go in the back of the net, just like in the good old days. But yeah, he just brings so much to the game. Like even on Yori's goal, he made a great run to try and pull the defense away and open things up. He's just such a well-rounded striker. We've been talking about what Kelechi does to his all-around game and bringing in the play and linking up. And Vardy has a lot of the same characteristics now that he's developed since being under Brendan Rodgers. And he's just getting better and better at the other parts of the game, even when his finishing might be lacking.
Yeah, and again, it was one opportunity. It's probably going to be mentioned, but it's nothing to really worry about in terms of we're putting 3 against Man United. And before, I don't know if it was the same thing over in North America, but there's a lot of talk about Dean Henderson and how amazing he is and how he's only conceded 1 goal in 11 games or such. And we've just gone and put 3 past him. And again, the beginning bit will be completely forgotten, Alex. And again, just a complete team performance. But again, you could talk about Vardy. Where do you want to talk about? Because there's just so many good things at the moment that's happening.
Yeah, and like you said, you can really discuss anybody at this point and really dissect their play and just say that they've been playing fabulous. I don't, like you said, I don't think anybody was under a 7 today. And that's just showing how tight knit and how much this team is gelling right now, and that's just something that's so key to see. And you can see it, clear as day. And everyone's kind of, and how you've kind of mentioned, a lot of people are kind of taking, Leicester in as they're going to, they're going to flop and, they're going to do the same thing that they did last season. But, this is a statement. This match was a statement. Not only can we compete in the FA Cup, but we can, face off against a team like Man United and, hands down beat them, no issue at all, 3-1. And, this is one of the teams at the top of the league as well. We're here. We are making a statement. We're here to compete in the league. And I think every single player on this team deserves praise because as a unit, they have just gelled. And these are the reasons why we're pulling off these victories.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just the way that we went about it, Mark, today, because, again, we've talked about Vardy, we've talked about Nacho, but I think, again, it's just everybody all over the pitch. But again, playing 2 midfielders in Tielemans and in Ndidi, their relationship is just getting stronger and stronger the more we play. Obviously, Tielemans took his goal well, but I think players like iheanacho in Ndidi will not get the recognition he deserves. Today, he was absolutely fantastic. And again, when they made a quadruple substitution, I've never seen that. I've never seen a quadruple substitution apart from a friendly game or something before, a pre-match. And then you're thinking, oh my God, here we go. And they come in and they just absolutely played fantastically. And they didn't really change that much. And them 2 in particular deserve so much praise. But I think today we're just going to have to go through the entire team.
Yeah, I think so. I had sort of a real bad feeling when Vardy did miss that at 2-1. I thought that was our moment to really put them to bed and it was going to come back and bite us. And just on Jamie Vardy, I think what he needs is a chance where it's going to be instinctive for him. One that just comes and he just hits it first time without thinking. Because on that goal, that chance he had today, he takes it through Maguire's legs and there's so much time for him. All those sort of feelings of confidence have time to run through his veins. The goals will come back. At the moment, they're not, but he is giving it everything for the team. But back to your point around Tielemans and Ndidi, I believe they've played together in 18 games this season, and we've lost 1 game out of 18. And that's because they're a brick wall in the middle of that midfield. You've got someone breaking it down in Ndidi and passing it on to Tielemans, who is breaking teams down for us with his passing and goal scoring as well. He's got 8 goals now this season. So the goals are being spread around a little bit. But yeah, right the way through the side today, and you can say the same at the back for Fana and Siyuncu and Evans, were faultless for my view. I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've been celebrating the goals that much today. Within my home environment, it's a special day for Leicester City Football Club today.
It really is, and it's been just a special few results as well, JT. But yeah, just over to you and your thoughts on the middle of the park, because today, just again, and thank you for everybody for getting your comments. And once again, make sure like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But just today in that midfield, I mean, we just ran it. And bearing in mind, they've got the likes of Paul Pogba, who's one of the best midfielder on his day in the world. And then they brought on the likes. Then they brought on all their midfielders. And it still didn't make that much of a difference. I mean, they deserve tremendous praise today.
Yeah, I agree. Ndidi, just a rock as usual, just the performance we come to expect week in, week out. Goes in, just mops up everything in the midfield. And you got Tielemans running it. He might not be the most like athletic, fast midfielder that you've ever seen, but he more than gets the job done with just his he's got like this like special ability that it's kind of hard to describe. And even like I've never been the biggest fan of Perez, but I don't think we've really mentioned him yet today. But he was pretty good today, I thought, and I thought he was going to put us up with his one goal where he had a quick side to side dribble and he narrowly missed it wide. But I just thought the midfield was great. Pratt came in. Thank goodness he's finally back. We've needed him for the past who knows how long at this point, just losing track of time. But yeah, we've needed to get him back. He got good minutes. Yeah, it's just an exciting time that our midfield is able to come up against, Man United, top in the league, been top in the league for however many years now. They got so many talented players that we can come in and control a midfield like that. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, and with the age and relatively inexperience as well, Alex. I mean, the likes of Pogba, we've mentioned, Bruno is obviously them two players themselves are world-class players. Cavani, world-class player as well. They've got some quality today, and here's a good point as well. In the something we've not seen in a while, but the final third, I think a comment from Dan, but we overran it. And at times in the first 15 minutes, it didn't look like we were going to overrun it as such, because Man United just came at us. We thought, we're going to be in for a tough game. But they dropped off after about 15 minutes and we built our way into the game. And I thought, again, it was brilliant, and them two deserves a lot of credit. But when they had the ball, when Man United had the ball, we were closing them down. We were creating those opportunities for them to make a mistake, and then we got the opportunity. And that, again, they should have outnumbered us, but we outnumbered them. And it seemed like we had a couple more players on the pitch at times.
Yeah, and like one of the things that I know we've discussed before is that games, Leicester City, whenever they play, the game is usually decided in the midfield. And this was just another example. When you have players like Ndidi and Tielemans, they dictated play the entire game. And as soon as that, when you have those two players on point, there's really nothing that's going to get through them. Another player that I think that needs to be mentioned, who played absolutely fantastic today, was Soyuncu. He really was playing as a brick wall. That's the Turkish wall we've been talking about, and he was just absolutely incredible today. And the fact that, you have Soyuncu and you're still looking at, your other two center backs and, Evans and Fofana, who, did their jobs accordingly as well. There's, round of applause for every single player, because, I think I've been saying this the entire time, but, it was a team effort, and you saw, defense from every single player that came back and, defended and were able to get back whenever they needed to. And, even Schmeichel with that save in the, in the last few minutes was just another clear example of how key and how important he is to this squad as well.
Yeah, it's something that we've mentioned time and again, week after week on this show, Mark. Me and Alex have, but Schmeichel, when he's called, again, he didn't really have a lot to do in the match. However, the sign of a world-class goalkeeper, just like a world-class striker, when they need to turn up, they turn up. And Schmeichel, again, with Bruno Fernandes, and they're only a goal behind. And then if that goes in, then we're chasing, then we're holding on for the last 10 minutes. It's a completely different game. But again, Schmeichel didn't have a lot to do. Then when that free kick, he comes in, saves it. And it was a great free kick and an even better save to match it.
Yeah, it was. And it's a sign, like you say, of someone that is world-class. And I think that world-class side is the mentality of the guy, because he's a winner for me. Right the way that he's travelled through the club has developed with him and with his sort of own desire to move forward. But he's got another 5 or 6 years at the top left in him yet. The only thing I'd come back to you and say on that before around Pogba and Fernandes, and this might be an outrageous statement, but I don't think when everyone's fit for Leicester, they get in our midfield. I think Paul Pogba is a 1 in 10 player that turns up and runs a show 1 in 10. I wouldn't have him in front of a James Maddison or a Yuri Tillemans. I wouldn't swap our 3 in midfield for anyone in the league at the moment. I'm slightly biased though. I'm awaiting all the responses coming in now that is outrageous, but that's my feeling.
I was going to say, if you have any more outrageous comments, make sure to leave me in the comments, and we'll try and get back to them. But that's definitely an interesting point. I'm trying to think, but I think at the moment you got again some other players. So if you talk about the 3 just within our squad, Glenn puts and a couple of other people, but again with James Justin, Ricardo Pereira, Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, 4 massive players for us, especially this season, and we've gone there and turned up again. And well, is JT, over to you with that question. Do they get into our midfield?
I agree with Pogba not getting in. He's not consistent. On his day, as we've seen many times, my specific memories go back to like the 2018 World Cup with France. Pogba was best midfielder in the tournament, and he shows his talent that the price tag recommends. But I don't think he gets in. And Bruno, I don't like him. I just don't like him. But he's pretty good. I'd say he probably gets in. I would think. It's hard just because of my feelings towards him, but I'd say he gets in probably over Maddison. You've
got to remember when Pogba was the best midfielder in that World Cup, Harry Maguire was the best centre back. So you need to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt.
That is true. That is true. That is the World Cup that got us our new training ground. So.
Yeah. and yes, and Harry Maguire was a big part to that. So thank you so much for your performance today. Thank you for taking the yellow. I mentioned to Alex today, I was like, if a fridge is on yellow, does that mean that it's defrosting and that it's going to go off? But yeah, over to you, Alex. I mean, defensive. I think we've touched on that. We've touched on the midfield, but. Again, just on the back line today, I mean, Johnny Evans, fantastic. Söyüncü and Fofana. I mean, just even they really they came alive a lot, but especially when they had those like quadruple substitution I was making, they just soaked up. We got this. They played in such a professional manner that you're thinking that right, this is the top elite team, and this other team is the one that's chasing.
Yeah, you know what? And one of the big things for me is that, we've been talking about this back 3 of, Johnny Evans, Caglar Söyüncü, and Wesley Fofana since the start of the season, but we've never been able to see it because of the amount of injuries we've had this year. And it was worth the wait. These 3 are absolutely lethal together. They can shut down any offense, and they can dictate play whenever you need them to, And Harry Maguire does not make it into this back 3. He doesn't even make the bench.
Do you know what? If you watch the preview, I actually mentioned this to the Man United fan, and he was shocked. And I was like, "No." I tweeted it out, and he retweeted it. I think Evans got. They said Evans misses out, and I went no. But he said, but again, we agree. But I think it was like 50% would say he sits on the bench, and that was the point I tried to prove to him that yes, Maguire is 80 million, but for consistency, you have to have Johnny Evans and his training and how he's trained the other 2 players either side. But again, it showed today 3-1. I mean, unbelievable today. But again, down to the back 3 mark again. But it's a formation I think we wanted to see for a while, but because of injury, with Cags being out, with Fofana being out, with Evans being out for a long period of time, we've never had to experiment with it too much, and especially with Harvey Barnes performing how he is. I mean, overall, that back 3 is just sublime, and they're only going to get better. Bearing in mind that is 20 is Fofana and 24 is Söyüncü. That synergy and that connection is only going to get better within time.
They are absolutely superb, and you wonder where their limit is. You spoke about Johnny Evans as well, and you're right. He is their leader and he is their teacher at the back. What I really liked from him today was that he he was talking to them all the way through at 3-1. The intensity didn't drop from him. He wanted to make sure that those levels were kept as high as they could do. I like this formation. I think it gives us flexibility. I think, if you've got fullbacks like Castagna and Pereira and eventually Justin and Pereira, that's going to be another element of attack with three attacking players further on, plus Tielemans in the midfield, which means you could potentially score goals from 7 or 8 different players. How do you defend against that? So I think that's probably what Brendan Rodgers prefers. I think that's his go-to, and I think that's what we'll see next season. That's why I don't think we'll do a lot of business in the transfer window in the summer. I think it would be just a top-up here and there to get us ready for the Champions League.
Yes, I mean, it's looking likely. I've got my Champions League shirt on at the moment. I'm trying to get my badges in at the moment. Champions League badges, because that's how confident I think that we are doing at the moment. But again, just JT, I mean, them back three, I think we just have to spend some time on it, because just insane in the way that we're playing, and also the fact that they're just going to get better as well.
Yeah, they looked very comfortable today in defense and on the ball. If we go back to 2015-16, we had Huth, Morgan, and Simpson and Fuchs, and a lot of times they were just booting the ball up the field. This back three, they all comfortable on the ball. Fofana's bombing up the side, looking like Ricardo at times, bombing up the sideline, and then you have Cags doing Cruyff turns and and whatnot, creating space and running with the ball as well. It's just a completely different animal. They almost become, at times, when they're calm and when they're on it, they're almost press resistant, which is going to be huge coming into the Champions League next season. You need that press resistance because of the different styles of football that you see in the European game and across the continent. So that's going to be huge for future development of the defense.
Yeah, I think it will just have to go again, because again, as people have said already, again, Champions League is going to be such a great thing, and we're going Wembley, Alex. I mean, it's something that we said a couple of weeks back, obviously, when we had the Arsenal game, and we were like, we're all a bit doom and gloom, and we're like, let's look on the positive sides. And this is the example of it. This is kind of, we knew that when playing one game a week is going to improve now that we didn't know it would be this good. I mean, that would be saying too much, in my opinion. However, we played super well, and what that would be one point. And the second point today, Mark Albrighton, he comes in for Ricardo, and he's everywhere. He's working his socks off. He's going, right, I'm going to get back and defend. I'm going to come forward, get the ball, and play it to iheanacho. Play some brilliant balls. And even in the 90th minute, he's still going to that corner flag and going, right, let me see if I can create an opportunity, or just to play it out. I mean, it's just, today, a lot of I think people aren't sure about him. For me, he comes in, does a job, give him an extra year. I think his contract till 2022, but he's an ultimate professional, and he's just sublime at the moment. And Dan just puts in literally at the moment. That's, I won't say he's the greatest of all time, but he's fantastic at the moment.
Yeah, well, first off, I will say, we've been discussing it of weeks past, how, it is kind of a blessing in disguise that we were, kicked out of the Europa League. Because, if we were still in the Europa League, we'd be gassed, not only in the FA Cup, but it'd be in the Prem and it'd be showing. So, the fact that we're out of the Europa, really, we can capitalize off both the FA and the Premier League now. And that's just fantastic. Secondly, on Albrighton, he is so key in every single match. And, the versatility that he has, he can adapt. He's reliable, and that's what you need. And, he can play offense, he can play defense, he can really be wherever you need him to be, it seems. And, especially for his age, everybody gives him that write-off, he want you inside on every club. You know what? You're probably right, he wouldn't. But what he does here at Leicester is something that a lot of players cannot do. And, and that he really does fill the boots of when of that type of player that whenever you need him, he'll be there to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you need in a squad. You've seen it with every single manager that's come in, has kind of shunned him off, and they've played another person. Then they've realized, and halfway through their tenure tends to be, or so on, so forth, like a year in, that he deserves to start, and he has that opportunity, and he takes it, gives you that decent 7 out of 10 every single time. But there's just so many, again, it's just fantastic. Even Castagna had a great game, didn't set the world alight, but he did what he needed to do. And there was a lot of them performances all over the pitch today. But I think, Mark, again, we'll come to a little bit of man of the match. I think there's only really, I think man of the match, you could obviously Nacho, but some of the substitutions, Brendan Rodgers deserves a lot of credit. Not for exactly man of the match, but the way he set up with the substitution. Again, bringing on Hamza Chowdhury in the last few minutes was a good idea, just to shore up everything. Bringing Dennis Pratt in because Perez was looking like he was getting knocked around a lot by McTominay. Fantastic management and fantastic the way he set up with the players that he had.
Yeah, I think he's a top manager, isn't he? I think he's one of the best in Europe. I would put my neck out to say, not just in the Premier League, because with the resources that Leicester City have got compared to some of the, and I'll put this into quotation marks, bigger clubs. I'm not sure he can get much bigger than us at the moment. But I think he has got a group of guys together. It's not just around his tactical awareness. It's around how he gets the most out of them from a psychological point of view as well, and taps into their psyche. So I think he would have used last season's failures as a real positive to stoke the fire this season. And, there were some question marks in the fan base about, can we go into another quarter-final and lose? And is he up for the big games, or is he a bottler? And that was totally unfair. The guy is top class. And I hope he's at our club for a long, long time to come, because I think he'll bring us trophies in time. Maybe even this season, you never know. We can all dream today, can't we? But, Wembley, we are the famous Leicester City. And
yes.
We're going to Wembley.
Yes, we're fine. Yeah, again, we're going to Wembley, and it's just fantastic to see. Another point as well that Antonias as well. So make sure you tune into him. Again, they're the Greek Foxes. Make sure you tune into them. Fantastic people doing some amazing stuff as well. We've beaten all top six clubs this season. I don't think there's anybody that's actually been able to do that apart from us. Again, go right under the radar, JT. But again, fantastic, really, isn't it? Like that we can beat all six clubs.
Yeah, it really is. It really is just a testament to this squad, the depth that we're all worried about at times, but they seem to show up and play, and they succeed for us. And I think a lot of that is down to Rodgers. There aren't many better managers in the league, definitely at the moment, or just overall in general. You have other top six big clubs like Chelsea and Tottenham. I think there were stats from the first half of the season that Chelsea had 0 wins against top 10 teams for a while, and that's one thing you can't even say about us. And we don't do it through smash and grab. It is fully deserved the majority of the time, and that's what was most impressive for me today, is that we didn't just set up and defend deep and just kind of get a smash and grab. As I said before, it was a completely different play style to when we beat Man City 5-2 earlier this season. And that's been one of the more impressive things, is that we've shown versatility in how we play, how else we can play, and we still get the job done.
Exactly, and that's something that, again, we just have to go on, Alex. And again, just down to JT's point, and also Brendan Rodgers is a huge factor in that. I mean, last season when we had a few injuries, we kind of stumbled and fell. This time it's completely different.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is, what a way to, bring in 100 games as manager.
Yeah.
You're going to Wembley, and that's how you check off your 100th game. Unbelievable, and that's just one thing, and as everyone said, I really do believe Rodgers is world class. The way that he has been able to adapt and really learn and take hold of not only his tactical brilliance, but it's, how he deals with formations and, adapting with injuries, and, how motivating he is and how he deals with the younger players as well. He really is the perfect package for a manager. And, I would not want to have any other manager, leading Leicester right now, because, the way that he plays, just the calm, cool, and collected is a statement in itself. And, I think, as a Leicester City fan, I think we all need to be, buzzing just the fact that, Rodgers is our manager.
Yes, I totally agree. And what he's doing with the squad, it's just amazing. Again, I want to move right back to the beginning of the comment. Again, we move into the semis against Southampton, Mark, because today, what a result! What a draw! I saw that there's a Twitter account. I think that Alex showed me as well at halftime. that said a profanity that was because it was brilliant. When they found out there's an account that says, what's the name of it? Did Southampton's 9-0 get mentioned today?
Yeah,
and they tweeted out, yeah, which was absolutely brilliant fun. So I'm glad that they're good lads over there. But yes, again, we've got Southampton next round, and then we've got Man City the week after. Sorry,
yeah.
Southampton the week. So, what are your thoughts on predictions going forward? Because at the moment, we are just looking unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great motivational tool for Brendan Rodgers to use with the team, because he will have learned from the Aston Villa defeat in the Cup. Was that last season, or was it? It feels so long ago now. I think it was last season, wasn't it? Yeah. So he'll have that in his mind, and he won't be going into that thinking that that's a given for us. He'll know that we need to perform really well to get to the final of the FA Cup. But we have a huge opportunity now. This is the best opportunity we've had to win the FA Cup in all of our lifetimes that are sat on this call at the moment, and that's a huge feeling. If we can go and do that, I'm done. I'm happy with life. That is, we've won the Premier League and we've won the FA Cup. There's nothing
Close down
more.
the club.
Yeah, what
Finish
else can you do? But it's a fantastic draw. I didn't like the fact we were having a draw at half time in our game, because I could see it only as drawing Manchester City, and I was thinking it's going to take some of the gloss off. What could have been an awesome performance, and it was an awesome performance, but it just gave us that little bit extra motivation, I think, to see the job through.
Yeah, exactly. And just over to you, I totally agree. And over to you, JT. It's the same thing again. Again, we've got Southampton in the cup. What do you think for the semi-finals? And then the second one is just Man City again. We're just looking amazing. What do you think for them two performances, or them two future performances?
So starting with Southampton, it was definitely the best draw that we could have had. They've been struggling in the league with just form. They got off to an amazing start to the first half of the season, and then it's been really downhill since then. But we definitely can't come in. We definitely can't come in careless. We definitely can't come in not expecting to have a great challenge. But I don't think that's going to happen. Brendan won't let that happen. We just have to set up and play our game. And just not get surprised by anything like that. And as for the Man City game, I do like that we have a good 2 weeks off from now until the Man City game. So hopefully none of our players get too many minutes in this international break, and they can go to COVID quarantine areas or anything nonsensical. Not looking forward to any sort of ramifications from that. But hopefully we can get through with a fully healthy squad, no quarantines, and come into Man City with a fresh team. And then looking forward to get Maddison and Barnes back in the squad in the following weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also another thing as well, Ricardo will be back for that. Obviously, he's probably not going on for Portugal because he's just been injured as well. So again, there's going to be players coming back will be much stronger, but also a little bit as well at the same time, Alex, the fact that I won't say it's the only downside is that we've got an international break now. I mean, I would have preferred to play Man City and just keep this energy going at the moment.
Yeah. You know what? When you have momentum like this, you just want to keep rolling along. And, there's concern in that sense, but I'm also, I trust in this team. I trust in this club. I trust in Rodgers. I fully trust this club and everything. There's no concern for me, because the way that we've played this season is completely different from last. And, that's one thing that is completely different. Moving forward, I really think we have an incredible opportunity to get to the finals in the FA Cup. I really think that, I know that this club will not just walk into their match against Southampton and expect a win. I know that they're going to be going into this and know that they're going to have to fight a battle in order to get there. And I think this club and this squad is ready to do that. So I don't have concern for that. And I'm expecting an exciting match. Man City, I'm excited for that one too. I won't predict, because you know me, I don't like predicting. But I think from our match earlier this season with Man City, I think Man City is going to want to prove a point. They were going to want to prove a point saying, we're in first. We're going to show you that why we're the champions here. And I think Leicester can use that to their advantage.
I've just sorry, I've just cut you off. I've just clicked as well. It's Kelechi and Nacho versus Riyad Mahrez, kind of who's going to score the most goals in either end. Sorry, back to you, Alex.
But no, I honestly do think, with the way that the last result happened against Man City, I think they're going to come out with a point to prove, and I think Leicester will be able to capitalize off that. And I think it's Nacho time yet again.
Yeah, Nacho time. That's going to be a new phrase, hopefully, from now on. But yeah, thanks again. Thank you all for joining. We could just talk about this forever, but again, we'll start about this up. Mark, I know you have an awesome podcast as well to check out. So where can the people find you?
You can find us anywhere. Yeah, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, or anywhere you can sort of download a podcast from. So it's called It's 11, It's Heaven for Jamie Vardy. We tend to be joined by an ex-player every week. There's myself, 3 further Leicester City fans, and an Aston Villa fan who I'd say joins us for balance, but I'm not sure about that. Outrageously early in this season, he said that Yuri Tillemans wouldn't get into the Aston Villa midfield, which is absolutely, I can see you all laughing. I think he's backtracking on that quite a lot. He also had
he wouldn't take it, that's why.
He also had a £50 bet with me that they would finish higher up in the league than this season, so I'm looking forward to collecting on that. But yeah, we've got Super Stevie Walsh tomorrow night, so I can't wait to speak to him about his time at the club. And for me and the lads, when we do our interviews, it's about delving into what it was like to be a professional footballer, because that was all our dreams, and we're living our dreams by speaking to these guys who have been there and done it. So yeah, give it a listen.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure, again, they're not in the description at the moment, but if you watch this afterwards, I'll make sure to link in the description to Mark's Twitter and all of his and that's Spotify and things like that.
Yes,
so that'll be no problem. And JT, where can the people find you as well?
I'm just on Twitter at USA _LCFC. I guess I didn't get the memo to put my handle in the name tag like these other two, but I'll make sure to do that the next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on next time. And again, it's just something that we do. So Alex, over to you. Trust me, we didn't do it for the while, but then I realized other people doing it. I was like, yeah, that's a clever idea. But over to you, Alex. Final thoughts and kind of wrap up, because I mean, I'm just not exhausted. I'm just happy, but I've got everything out after that. It's brilliant.
It is the time to be a Leicester City fan. We are living in the glory days, and we should just soak in every single second of it. And, let's just move forward, and let's just get ready for the next match. And, let's just enjoy every single second we have of it. Because, like I said before, we're in the Premier League. And some days I still sit there and I still go, we are lucky to be here, and I'm going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah. And we are enjoying the ride as well. Hey, that's Mark's podcast. He just put it in quickly down below. So make sure you check that one out. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description as per usual. Thanks everybody for joining. Again, 3-1, fantastic. And let's can't wait for the next game. And hopefully we have more and more Nacho time. And I'm all for it. So thank you everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.
Goodbye.